So smallmouth bass are one of the most exciting species of bass to catch no matter where you are in the country, whether you're fishing for the real skinny Texas smallmouth or the incredibly obese New York and Canada smallmouth. I'm gonna teach you guys about my top 3 smallmouth soft plastics. So let's talk about it. Well, how's it going, everybody? My name is Tyler Anderson, and it is my goal on this channel to help you guys become better bass anglers. Now, in this video, put your seatbelt on, strap in, because we're about to watch some incredible smallmouth bass action, and I'm going to teach you guys my top 3 smallmouth soft plastics. We're going to do a different video of top 3 smallmouth hard plastics, and of course, if you are not a smallmouth specific angler, I'm not inviting you to tune out. This is definitely not going to be a largemouth video, but I think you'll be able to learn something that can help you in a situation when you find yourself fishing for smallmouth bass. So if you guys are not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, and let's jump into talking about smallmouth soft plastic number 1 in no specific order, the tube. The tube is exquisite. I can't even give many words beside it. It's one of my favorite smallmouth catchers, and I found that this is actually the biggest fish catcher. So the other two we're going to talk about definitely get more numbers, and they can get size. As a matter of fact, my PB came on one of those over there, my PB smallmouth. But the size, I think, of an average fish that eats a tube is just a little bit bigger. This here is a Strike King 3.5-inch smallmouth tube in green pumpkin. I'm going to talk about one color today, and one color only in all 3 of these, and that is green pumpkin. Actually, I'll kind of mention, colors like morning dawn and clear colors, but for the most part, smallmouth are going to be eating crawfish. And so 2 out of the 3 of these lures represent crawfish, the best that I think is physically possible on the water. And the first of those being the tube. The tube is a fairly non-weedless technique. The hook is exposed, and so this is mainly meant to throw around rocks and meant to kind of rip out of shallow grass. I have found that lakes in Michigan and like Lake of the Woods in Ontario, Canada, a tube definitely shines. Lakes like Mille Lacs, I think a Ned rig shines, and here in New York, I think a drop shot and a Ned rig shine over a tube. But the tube is just a fish catcher. The little tentacles here entice bass. They're definitely a little bit tricky to rig though. So if y'all have never fished a tube, at least in my experience, you have to rig. I'll kind of tie it off and show y'all. You have to rig the tube itself before you rig the hook. So in the box, you'll get a tube hook that looks like this, and you'll get a tube. And so usually you tie the hook onto the line first. With the tube, what I have to do is you gotta slide the weight through the tube, the hollow body of the tube. Then you gotta poke it out through the soft plastic. It forms a little hole there. And then you can tie whatever knot you like onto the tube jig head. And that's what this is. It's literally just a jig head with a little bit of flary skirt, and I think it represents a crawfish that maybe had its claws mangled, or it just looks like a very easy to eat crawfish for a bass. Now when it comes to retrieves, I'm going to show you guys a few tube fish catches from my trip here in New York. Now most of the fish are on beds, so it's not a whole lot of different scenarios I can show y'all, but it's usually a hop, just kind of like a slight hop off the bottom, as you'll see here on the screen. But occasionally, like on lakes like St. Clair and other lakes in Michigan, you are literally ripping it off the bottom, imagining a crawfish that kind of sits there, gets scared by a bass, and it jumps. And I'll try to find some footage online of what a crawfish looks like when it jumps up in the air. But that is what the tube represents. Any sort of crawfish, sometimes a goby representation, but I think a tube is definitely one of the best fish catchers. So here is a tube fish catch from here in New York. He doesn't really want to eat.
Let me know when I can bring in the big guns.
Got him! There we go, on the tube. No, I'll be able to flip him in. Give myself a little more drag to work with. Hello, buddy. You are paid off, baby. You are pretty. Oh, hey.
Got a little bit bigger size one on the tube. Oh. There we go. Oh no! He got in, yay! Heck yeah. Look at that. Tube in the corner of the mouth. Boom.
Look at that.
Gorgeous fish. Thank you, buddy.
So now that we've talked about the tube, it's time to go into lure number 2, and that is going to be the drop shot. The drop shot is definitely one of the most versatile fish catchers out there for smallmouth bass, and that is because, as y'all have seen, I think I talked about it in my top lures for Clearwater video, the drop shot actually sits anywhere from a foot to, I've seen guys throw 3-foot drop shot leaders on the drop shots, and the leader is the segment of line from the hook eye all the way down to your weight here on the bottom. And so I love throwing a drop shot. It doesn't really represent a crawfish. Crawfish is more the tube, and the third one, which is a Ned rig, which we'll talk about. This one more represents any sort of minnow or goby that these fish are eating. Here we have some kind of little minnow presentation. The reason why I'm throwing this in New York instead of green pumpkin, even though they both work, is because we had 2 smallmouth flop on the boat and literally spit out some white little bait fish, and so that's why this one has been working so well for us today. I'm assuming it's some kind of little bait fish that smallies like to munch on. But the reason why a drop shot is so appealing is because, again, it elevates the bait you want the fish to eat off of the bottom, and especially smallmouth bass love to suspend. They love to eat things as they're swimming, as they're going through the water, and so I think it's really, really hard to beat a drop shot for those suspended fish. A lure that was kind of honorable mention for this video is going to be a small ribbed swim bait, like a Strike King Rage Swimmer, but I still think that a drop shot is going to outfish a Rage Swimmer unless you're fishing you know, where you want to cover a lot of water. That's when I think the number 4 honorable mention of the swim bait on a jig head definitely comes into play. But number 2 is going to be the drop shot, and here is a few fish catches of some drop shot smallmouth.
Oh, what is this? Oh, smallie.
A little bigger than your last one.
I know. I'm on a roll.
I like it.
I liked it too. Oh, hey. Jumper. That's a jumper boy. I just love how they dig. Come on.
What is that, 2?
Come on. Oh, yeah, 2-pounder. Oh, oh, ayo. You are a feisty boy.
Come on.
Yeah.
Nice.
There we go.
Look at that.
It's so crazy, y'all, how fat these fish are. That one's not even like the epitome of fatness. It's just a nice one. It's just a nice.
They just look rock solid.
Yeah, they are. They're built rock solid. They got some good old meat on their buns.
Dang, that's 3 in a row, dude.
I'm on a roll.
Soft plastic number 3 for smallmouth bass is, of course, everybody should know at this point, but of course this video is going to be super helpful for beginner smallmouth anglers, and that is the Ned rig. There's something about the Ned rig that just catches fish. You know, the tube definitely catches bigger fish, but if you want to go out there and just have a good time catching the bass, the Ned rig is going to be your bait of choice. You know, I absolutely love throwing a Ned rig no matter where I'm at in the country. I have caught smallmouth bass in Texas, Missouri, Minnesota, Michigan, and New York on a Ned rig. And if there were smallmouth in Florida, I would have caught them on a Ned rig in Florida as well. It is just, I think, the best imitation of a crawfish. It looks like a crawfish that has lost both of its claws. Literally, it doesn't even have any claws anymore. It presents 0 threat for a bass. It is 100% a snack for those bass. And so I love throwing it on an Outcast Tackle Ned rig jig head. I will have this one linked below for you guys to check out, as well as all the tackle I always have linked in my video descriptions. I feel like a Ned rig is pretty self-explanatory, but you just kind of hop it off the bottom. You know, drop shot, you may give it a little bit of a shake. Tube, you may kind of rip it off the bottom. Ned rig is about as slow of a hop or a jig as you can go, and you'll feel those fish kind of suck it up. And if you don't feel them suck it up, you'll literally feel pressure the next time you go to hop it, and you'll just reel down and set the hook, just like I talked about in my video on how to work every soft plastic. I actually went into how to work and how to rig all of these, and I'll leave those 2 videos linked below. They're currently blowing up on my channel, so it's awesome to see so many of new people coming to the channel, and that's where we're gonna end it. So if you guys wanna see a few fish catches, stay tuned. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. It is a pleasure for me to teach you how to become better bass anglers and enjoy some Ned rig fish catches from up here in New York.
Oh, I see one. He was on that bed, but he's gone now. He's very small. This water can be a little clearer.
It could be.
Oh gosh. Gosh!
Oh, that's a big.
Oh my gosh! Oh, where did he come from? Where did he come from?
Ooh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's a big one. Bring him in here. Holy smokes. Bring him in. Yes! Alrighty, right here. Look at that, folks. He's got a dip in his back.
What does that mean?
That's probably he got hit by a boat or something.
Oh.
Wow, that's a beautiful fish right there on the Ned rig, as I talked about. Just skin hooked. That guy came out of nowhere. He wasn't even on the bed, I don't think. I think he was just cruising around. That is gorgeous.
Big fish.
Look at that thing. Beautiful fish. Thank you for biting the Ned rig. My #1 lure. Adios. Yahoo!
Big one.